Hey everyone, I hope you're well. This is the story about what if Naruto was Tobirama's grandson and had ice release. Before we start, please subscribe to the channel and like the video as well. So without any further ado, let's start the what if. Unknown location. Somewhere, deep beneath Konoha, was a large underground base. It was dark, cold, devoid of any sense of joy or light. It was filled with shinobis, all dressed in identical hooded cloaks, and wearing what seems to be anba masks, but completely blank, just like the life in their eyes, and tone of their voices. They were all kneeling before a single figure, who was currently sitting on a throne. The figure appears to be a frail, old man, who is holding a cane in his hand. He had black, shaggy hair, his right eye was bandaged and on his chin is an X-shaped scar. He wore a white shirt, with a black or dark gray robe over the top of it covering from his feet, to just over his right shoulder. The robe conceals his right arm which was bandaged, and covered with 3 large golden braces. He had a strong aura of darkness around him. As he opens his only visible eye, he then addressed the young Anbu shinobi, that was currently kneeling before him. "Report," the old man ordered with a cold tone. "Yes, Danzo-sama. Weapon RD is almost complete. Our scientist confirmed that it will be combat ready before the year ends." The root agent answered, with a lifeless voice. "Excellent. What about Project New?" The now identified Danzo asked his loyal subordinate. "Unfortunately, the progression of Project New has been delayed. We require more Hashirama cells, since we used most of it on Weapon RD." The agent answered, once more with a lifeless voice. "That is unfortunate. Project New was supposed to be my grand equalizer if Konoha should turn on me, and only Orochimaru has access to those cells." "Speaking of whom, have you made contact with his spy?" Danzo asked with an annoyed tone. "Yes, Danzo-sama. We have received confirmation that Orochimaru plans to infiltrate the upcoming Chunin exams," the young Anbu said. "For what purpose?" Danzo asked. "According to the spy, Orochimaru plans to attack Konoha and assassinate the false Hokage," the agent answered. "I see, anything more?" Danzo asked, surprisingly taking the news of his village about to be attacked, without a care in the world. "Nothing further, my lord," the agent answered. Danzo then used his fingers to stroke his scarred chin. This attack could be beneficial for my goals. With Hiruzen gone, I'll finally become Hokage like should have been, and make the Kyuubi boy my weapon. But I doubt Orochimaru doesn't have another agenda. I have a feeling he might go after Sasuke as well," Danzo said, with a sinister smirk. "What are your orders, Danzo-sama?" the agent asked. "For now, we do nothing. But I want to place some eyes and ears in this exam. I don't want to leave anything to chance. Bring me Shin and Sai, and a 3rd young root agent," Danzo ordered. "My lord, I'm afraid Shin is still recovering from his last mission. His current health will be a liability to this task. I respectfully volunteer myself," the loyal agent requested boldly. But this bold action made Danzo narrowed his eye at the young agent. "Are questing me, agent?" Danzo asked, with his narrowed eye and a threatening tone. "No, my lord. I simply suggest." "You are not supposed to suggest anything. In root, you have no identity, no will, no past. The only thing that matters is the mission. Your purpose is to serve me and me alone. And forfeit your lives, if the village demands it. This is the way," Danzo reminded firmly. "This is the way," all the other kneeling agents repeated. "This is the way," the young agent repeated as well. Danzo never liked when his agents questioned him. But this agent in particular was very intelligent, and Danzo knew that he is one of his most faithful loyalists. And what he brought up was not entirely wrong. Shin has been under medical care for some time now. And it's only a matter of time before he and Sai will go through the initiation test. Your suggestion, however, is noted. This is no simple reconnaissance mission after all, and the consequences of failure is unacceptable. Very well, Tanuki. You and Sai will proceed with the mission. As for your third teammate, I want you to take our newest recruit. Danzo ordered. As you command, Danzo-sama. The now identified Tanuki obediently said, before he shunshin away, to find his two teammates for the exams. After he left, Danzo was now smirking with satisfaction. The village will suffer, there's no doubt about it. But it's a small price to pay, for me to become Hokage. Your time in the sun is almost over, Hiruzen. Soon, I will rise from the darkness, and bring forth a new era for Konoha. This is the way. Danzo thought, with the evil smirk never leaving his face. Meanwhile, with Team 10. As Naruto, Ino and Shikamaru made their way to their favorite barbecue restaurant, they noticed some odd behaviors coming from the villagers as they passed by them. The trio knew that they would usually glare at the blonde Senju every time he crosses their path, but not this time. Some of the villagers were actually smiling at him and looked at him with respect and admiration in their eyes. Word must have gone out about Naruto's heroics in both Land of Tea and Waves. Some of the rumors were slightly exaggerated, but the constant topic of their conversation was that Naruto was reported to be a great hero by both countries. There were some who denied this claim, of course, and declared that the demon brat was lying, so he can steal the rightful glory from the great Uchiha-sama. Sasuke would have kicked their asses if he heard them bad-mouthing his best friend and brother, just so they can boost his ego. While the lack of hostility was a great sense of relief for the blonde Senju, Ino and Shikamaru were simply disgusted by this. It was not too long ago that these people tormented Naruto, and now just because he did the village a great service by establishing trade partnerships with 2 other countries, they finally see him as a hero now. Bastards! Every last one of them, Ino thought with hate in her eyes. These people should consider themselves lucky that Naruto is not the vengeful type, Shikamaru thought with narrowed eyes. But apparently, Naruto can sense their negative emotions. Guys, calm down. You know I can literally feel your anger, right? Naruto asked with a calm tone. No way, Whiskers. It took you to risk your life for these people to finally acknowledge you. I recognize some of those smiling bastards. They were the same people who often call you the D word every time they see you. Ino said, with venom in her voice. She's right, Naruto. Shikamaru agreed. I'm not disagreeing with you guys. A part of me wants to slap those fake forced smiles off their faces, as well. But there's no point dwelling on the past. We must look to the future. And if the villagers will finally get off my back, my life will be much easier. Naruto said with a soft smile. How could you be so calm? Who's to say that they won't turn on you if you make a mistake? Ino pointed out. Then I won't make a mistake, Naruto joked. I'm serious, Naruto-kun. I don't want you to go through all that hell again. Ino yelled out, with great concern in her voice. What do you want me to do, Ino-chan? Call them all out for being ignorant bastards, and beat their hateful asses to a pulp? Naruto asked. Yes. And I'll help. Ino declared, with fire in her eyes. While I'm not completely on board with the whole mass-ass kicking thing, but I do see what Ino is trying to say. The villagers are finally starting to see you in a new light, Naruto. And it only takes one mistake for it disappear. Shikamaru pointed it out. Hearing thing from his girlfriend and his lazy best friend was enough to make him think for a moment. I guess you're right. Then I know what I must do if I reach the final stage of the Chunin exam. Naruto said. And that will be? Shikamaru asked. Probably something dramatic. But why spoil it? No, Naruto said with a smirk. Troublesome blonde. Shikamaru said with a tired sigh and a lazy smile. I still take offense to that by that way. But whatever plan you're thinking, Naruto-kun, you know I'm always with you. Ino said with a warm smile, as she held on to Naruto's hand. "Thank you, milady," Naruto said with a smile, before he kisses Ino on her cheek, causing her to blush a bit. She absolutely loves it when he does that. As the Genin trio continued their walk, Naruto sighed in annoyance when he felt 3 small chakra signatures behind them. "Am I only who noticed that we're being followed?" Naruto asked his 2 teammates. Apparently, the trio were being followed at Square Rock. "Nope. That rock has been following us for almost 5 minutes now," Shikamaru said. "Why didn't say anything then?" Ino whispered with a tick mark on her forehead. "Too troublesome," Shikamaru answered lazily. They let the rock follow them for another minute, until Ino couldn't take it anymore. "Okay, that's it. That is the worst disguise ever. There's no such thing as a perfectly square rock with holes in them. It's totally obvious." Ino yelled out in annoyance. Konohamaru, please, come out of there, you look ridiculous," Naruto said, as he could sense the little Sarutobi's chakra. "Just what you'd expect from the boss himself," the box said with his squeaky voice. Boom! The box then suddenly exploded, releasing a lot of smoke and confetti. And when the smoke clears, 3 children appeared, coughing their lungs out. Cough cough darn it udon. That's too much exploding powder. Konohamaru called out to one of the other kids next to him, while still coughing. The trio of kids then turned their heads upwards and saw Team 10 staring at them with confusion in their eyes. And the confusion only intensified when the kids started posing in a very dramatic fashion, as colorful backgrounds appeared behind them. "I'm Moegi, the sexiest girl in class at the Kunoichi preschool. Check me out," the female of the trio declared, while making her sassy pose. "I love math. Call me Udon," the boy with glasses declared, with nerdy pose. "I am the most brilliant ninja in the village. Konohamaru," Konohamaru declared proudly, as he made his tough guy pose. "The 3 of us together are the Konohamaru Ninja Squad. Here we are," the trio said in unison, and made their final team pose. Team 10 was so shocked and confused that they did not know what to say. Did that little girl said that she was sexy? Ino thought with a raised eyebrow. Did that boy said he loved math? Shikamaru thought. All Naruto could do was chuckle at the children's enthusiasm. Ha ha ha, hello again, Konohamaru-kun. Quite a flashy entrance you got there, Naruto said with a warm smile, happy to see his goofy little brother figure again. He then noticed the identical red cloths they are all wearing on their heads. Why are you guys wearing those red cloths around your heads? Naruto pointed to the red headbands that they are all wearing, that has the Senju clan symbol at the center. A/N, since this version of Naruto never wore the goggles, they wear the red headbands instead. Hi, because your jacket is red, and we want to be just like you. We even sewn the Senju clan symbol on it. We want to make sure everyone knows how awesome you are, Konohamaru said with a proud grin, wanting to be just like Big Brother figure. But this only made Ino and Shikamaru raised an eyebrow. Naruto-kun, did they just form the cult in your name? Ino asked Naruto with a deadpan look. Did you? Naruto asked the trio with a raised eyebrow. No. We just want to show everyone how awesome you are. Besides, everyone is starting to say that you are a hero now, Konohamaru said with a childish grin. I see, well I'm very flattered, Naruto said with warm smile, as he rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. Hearing that Naruto approves, was enough to make the trio of kids smile brightly. Teehee, see. I told you guys, he was cool, Konohamaru said. And very handsome too, Moegi said, while batting her eyelashes for the blonde Senju. Thank you, Naruto responded Moegi cheerfully asked Naruto, as she reaches for his hand. Well, my team and I were actually going to get some lunch, after a long day of training. Naruto answered. What? But you said you'd play ninja with us today. Konohamaru reminded disappointedly. Oh, is that right? Sorry, I actually forgotten, Naruto admitted, while rubbing his hair embarrassingly. Ino wanted to point out that it was kind of odd for Naruto to play ninja when he is already one. But she then realized that the trio of children just wanted to play with him because they absolutely worship him. All she could do was giggle at how cute it was. Teehee, it's kinda cute that a ninja would play ninja. Ino said with a warm smile and a cute giggle. Ha ha ha, yeah, I guess that's the irony. Naruto said, smiling back at her. Konohamaru then noticed the pretty platinum blonde Yamanaka and wanted to ask. Who is she, boss? Konohamaru asked. Oh, this is Ino. And the guy next to her is Shikamaru. Naruto introduced his team. Hi there, Ino greeted with a pretty smile. What's up, Shikamaru greeted lazily, with his hands in his pocket. When Konohamaru looked at Naruto, and then to Ino, and then back to Naruto, and then back to Ino, all the little Sarutobi could do was smirk teasingly at the blonde Senju. Oh, you've been busier than I thought, boss, Konohamaru said teasingly. Ha! Naruto didn't know what he meant. Is she your girlfriend? Konohamaru asked, while holding his pinky up and grinning childishly. Yes, Ino-chan is my girlfriend. We've been together since we were 5. Naruto said casually, like it was no big deal. But what he said shocked the young trio, as their eyes were widened and their jaws were hanging open. You had a girlfriend? Konohamaru started. Since you were 5? Udon finished, with the same disbelief tone. Yes. Naruto answered awkwardly. What happened next surprised the Genin trio, as Konohamaru and Udon dropped down to their knees, and started to dramatically bow before Naruto, while crying their eyes out. You are a god, Naruto-sama/Enaisan. We are not worthy. We are not worthy. All Naruto, Ino and Shikamaru could do was sweat dropped at the scene before them. Okay, this just got a lot weirder, Shikamaru said with a raised eyebrow. Boys, please don't do that, the floor is dirty, Ino said with concern in her voice, while trying to mask her growing laughter. And she's a goddess. And she's very nice too. Konohamaru and Udon cried out in unison. Thank you, hi, Ino accepted the compliment embarrassingly. Moegi on the other hand, could not contain her jealousy for the blonde Yamanaka. Naruto is a handsome boy and her idol, and she has already developed a schoolgirl crush on him. And she absolutely didn't like the idea of other girls being with him. She's not that pretty. She's a little top-heavy, if you ask me. Moegi said, while crossing her arms and pouted. But apparently after what she boldly said out loud, everything became dead silent, as an aura of death was radiating from Ino. The blonde Yamanaka had developed her assets quite early over the years. Her breasts are significantly bigger than most girls her age. Apparently, training her body almost every day to become a strong kunoichi has made her physique appear very athletic, yet maturely feminine at the same time. What did you say, Gaki? Ino asked Moegi dangerously. Moegi was trembling in fear and sweating bullets when she saw the aura of death around Ino. Run Moegi, run, Naruto said nervously, which made the little girl sprinted to the opposite direction, but Ino was right behind her tail. As the Yamanaka chases down the jealous little girl, she was so blinded by her rage that she didn't see where she was going, and accidentally bumped into someone, sending both of them to the ground. Ow, Ino groaned, while she held her head in pain. But she still hasn't realized that she was still on top of someone. As Naruto, Shikamaru, Konohamaru and Udon had finally arrived at the scene, the 4 boys couldn't help but feel slightly aroused at the sight before them, as the person that was under Ino was a pretty young girl. Oh my, Naruto thought with a teasing tone in his head. The girl had caramel tan skin, short mint green hair, and bright orange eyes. She appears to be a ninja, as her outfit consisted of a short sleeveless white midriff shirt with fisuhet armor underneath, long white armlets, and fisuhet shorts with a short white apron skirt over it. Her forehead protector was worn on her right arm. Amino-chan, Naruto said, blushing his cheeks out, and pointed to the pretty girl beneath Ino. Ino turned her head to Naruto when he called her, and was confused when she saw him blushing. And when she turned her head to where his finger was pointing at, she was surprised to see a smiling girl beneath her, which causes her to immediately panic and jump up, leaving the smiling girl on the ground. "Ich!" Ino yelled out, when she got back on her feet. But the girl was still smiling, as her back was still on the ground. "Salutations Konoha shinobis," the mint-haired girl said with a bright smile, as she waves her right hand. Hello?" Naruto said, confused by her personality. "Oh no, it's Komiai's Jinchuriki," Kurama pointed out with a sigh. "Chohu? Whoa, wait, did you say she's a Jinchuriki? Which one?" Naruto asked. "The seven-tailed rhinoceros beetle. Watch out for that one," Kurama warned. "Is this Komiai dangerous?" Naruto asked. "Not really. Komiai has always been the happy-go-lucky type. She even likes to refer herself as Lucky 7 Komiai. Her Jinchuriki kinda reminds me of her though. But like me, Komiai is one of the top 4 bijus. That's why I'm warning you," Kurama stated. "I see, I always wanted to meet another Jinchuriki. And now that I'm meeting one, I don't know what to say." Naruto thought both happily and saddened. Naruto was then snapped out of his thoughts, when he heard Ino tried to apologize to the mint-haired Jinchuriki girl. "Oh god, I'm so sorry. Are you okay?" Ino asked worriedly, hoping she didn't accidentally hurt the girl. But the mint-haired girl was still lying on the ground, without a care in the world. "I'm wonderful. Thank you for asking," the girl answered robotically. "Do you want to get up?" Shikamaru asked. Yes, the girl was hesitant at first, before she answered, with the bright smile never leaving her face. She then proceeds to jump back on her feet, causing Ino to take a step back. "My name is Fu, it's a pleasure to meet you." The now identified Fu happily introduced herself. "Hi Fu, I'm Naruto." Naruto greeted her with his bright smile. "I'm Ino." Ino greeted, waving her right hand at her. "Shikamaru." Shikamaru greeted lazily. "And this is Konohamaru and his friends, Udon and Moegi." Naruto then introduced the trio of children behind him. "It's a pleasure to meet you," Fu said with a bright smile. "You already said that," Ino pointed out. "So I did." Fu hesitated, before she said that. "Well, I'm very sorry for running into you. It's just that Moegi here has a big mouth," Ino said, while glaring daggers at the little girl behind Naruto. I stand by my statemate. A kunoichi doesn't need that much baggage. It will just be a burden." Moegi pouted, and turns her head away, while crossing her arms. But this was enough to piss off the Yamanaka once more. No wonder her affinity is fire. "Why you little? Tell that to Lady Tsunade," Ino yelled out, as she continues to chase Moegi, who in turn, resumed to run for her life. "Sigh, here we go again," Shikamaru said, as he, Konohamaru and Udon went after them. Naruto wanted to stay, and talk with Fu a little longer, hopefully so he can get to know his fellow Jinchuriki better. But decided to go after Ino, so she won't accidentally kill the jealous little girl. "Well, it was nice meeting you, Fu. But I gotta go now. Take care, friend," Naruto said with a smile, as he waved goodbye at her and chased after Ino. Fu then dropped her head down in disappointment, saddened that Team 10 had to go, but then she raises her head up, when remembered what Naruto just called her. With Moegi. Moegi was still running as fast as she could from the fuming Yamanaka. But when she made a sharp turn, she accidentally crashed into another shinobi that was around the corner. And this one was not at all friendly like the last. Apparently, the person she ran into is a male shinobi from Suna. He wore a Bunraku puppeteer's costume, a black, baggy, full-body suit with a red and yellow circle on the front. He also wears a black hood which covered his head completely, and had cat-like ears and his forehead protector on his forehead. Bunraku puppeteers usually wear black outfits and hoods so as not to distract from their puppets. He also sported a triangular, purple face paint design. "Damn it, brat, that hurt," the male Suna shinobi said, as he picked up Moegi by the collar, getting ready to apply some punishment on the scared little girl. "No please, I'm sorry," Moegi apologized fearfully, but the boy that was holding her collar didn't care. "Leave the kid alone, Kankuro." She apologized, said the female Suna kunoichi, that is standing next to the now identified Kankuro, with an annoyed tone. She has teal eyes and sandy blonde hair, which is gathered into 4 consecutive pigtails. Her outfit consists of a single light purple-colored, off-the-shoulders garment that extended to halfway down her thighs, with a scarlet sash tied around her waist. In addition to incorporating fisuhet worn over her shoulders and legs, specifically on her right calf and her left thigh, she also wore her black forehead protector around her neck. "No Temari, I've gotta to teach this gaki some respect," the now named Kankuro said with a sadistic smirk. "Fine, but if you get in trouble, I'm not helping," the now identified Temari said, with an annoyed sigh. Naruto, Ino and Shikamaru arrived just in time, with Konohamaru and Udon behind them. "Hey! Put her down, you jerk!" Ino yelled out, getting the attention of the Suna ninja duo. "Ha, get lost, blondie! Unless you want to be next," Kankuro threatened with a smirk. Naruto never liked threats, especially towards Ino, which he would gladly kill anyone who dares to. But when he notices their headbands, he realized it won't be wise to start an international incident between 2 allied hidden villages. He then decided to defuse the situation, before it escalates any further. "Miss, I advise you put the girl down," Naruto asked calmly. "What are you talking about?" "I'm not the one holding her," Temari asked confused, but was lightly blushing when she saw Naruto's handsome face. "I'm actually talking to her," Naruto points at Kankuro. "The fugly one, that is holding Moegi over there," Naruto said with a straight face to Kankuro, who was growling furiously at the blonde Senju. "What the hell? I'm a boy, you idiot!" Kankuro yelled out, embarrassed and angered at the same time. "Then why the hell are you wearing a full-body catsuit and makeup?" Naruto asked with a raised eyebrow, which causes Temari to giggle. "Teehee, cute and funny. And the one with the pineapple hair is not bad either. It's like this village is a breeding ground for hot guys," Temari thought with a blush. "It's not makeup. It's war paint," Kankuro yelled out, trying to defend his pride. "Your teammates' giggles say otherwise," Shikamaru stated, which made Kankuro turn his head and saw Temari couldn't contain her giggle. "Traitor," Kankuro thought. "Look, I don't care about your confused sexuality. I won't judge. But please put the girl down, and no one has to get hurt," Naruto stated, his tone turning sharper by the minute. "I'm teaching her some manners, asshole. And after I'm done with her, I'm going to teach you some too," Kakuro said as he made a fist, and prepared to punch Moegi's face. Naruto instantly vanished in a blur of speed, reappearing behind Kankuro with a kunai at his throat. Temari was caught off guard by the sudden burst of speed, and was about to take out the large fan behind her back to defend her brother, but then she felt her body completely paralyze. "I don't think so," Shikamaru said, as his shadow was now connected to Temari's. "Now, would you be so kind to put her down?" Gently, Naruto whispered into Kankuro's ear, which sent shivers down his spine, as he immediately let go of Moegi. She then ran all the way to Konohamaru and hugged him. "Konohamaru, take your friends and leave. Now!" Naruto ordered with a serious tone. Right, boss. Let's go, guys, Konohamaru said, as he led Udon and Moegi away. Naruto then returns his attention to Kankuro. Now, let me remind you that attacking a civilian from an allied village is a crime punishable by death. But I think I'll leave the punishment to your not-so-happy-looking teammate. Naruto said, as his eyes were locked on the short red-headed Suna shinobi that was hanging upside down on a tree branch. Everyone heard what Naruto said, and their heads turned to the direction of the red-headed ninja. When Kankuro and Temari saw him, their eyes were widened in fear and panic. The red-haired boy has fair skin, green eyes, and short auburn messy hair. He lacks distinctive pupils or eyebrows, and has a tanuki-like black rings around his eyes. He even has a kanji for love on the left side of his forehead. He wears a black bodysuit with an open neck, t-shirt-like sleeves, and almost full-length leggings. With this, he wears a white cloth over his right shoulder and the left side of his hips. He has a wide leather band from his left shoulder to his right hip with which he carries his sand gourd and around which he wraps his forehead protector. He had a strong aura of death around him. Kankuro, stand down, the redhead ordered with monotone voice. Jiagara, Kankuro said fearfully. In Naruto's mindscape. Careful, boy. That's Shikaku's Jinchuriki, Kurama warned. Another Jinchuriki? Don't get too excited. Shikaku is an asshole. Wow, did you just cursed? Yeah, so what? You do it all the time. Anyway, you need to really watch your back with that one foot. Which one is he? Shikaku is the one-tailed raccoon. He has an ability called Jiten, or magnet release, which enables him and his Jinchuriki to control sand. Wow, that's awesome. How come you don't have any cool powers like that? Ungrateful brat. You have more chakra than any living being in this world. Not to mention, my regenerative healing, and the power to sense evil and negative emotions. I guess that is cool, but is that all? For the most powerful bijou? Cheeky brat, well there is the Kyubi chakra mode, KCM, and the Baryon mode. What's the Baryon mode? That mode is not important. All you need to know is to watch out with this Gaara. I can sense that Shikaku has twisted the boy into becoming his killmongering puppet. And also, he hates me, by the way. What? Why? He didn't like the fact that I pointed out that a tailed beast's strength is measured by the number of tails, therefore viewing him as the weakest. Wow, really? Yes, and no. At first, I was just fucking with him, 'cause he's my youngest brother. But over the centuries, that theory was proven to be correct. A tail represents the amount of chakra we have. And I have 9, so that makes me the most powerful. Noted. And thanks for the history lesson. Back in the real world. Naruto was then snapped back to reality when he heard Gaara was speaking to his teammate. Sometimes even Naruto forgets that an hour-long conversation in his mind was actually 3 seconds in the real world. You're an embarrassment to our village. Have you forgotten the reason why we came all the way here to Konoha? Gaara said with a dangerous tone to his older brother and teammate. Please listen to me, Gaara. They lashed out first. Shut up. Or I'll kill you. Gaara interrupted him as he shot his killing intent towards Kankuro, which caused the war paint wearing boy's legs to slightly tremble. Understood, I was wrong, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. Kankuro apologized desperately. Ino and Shikamaru were shocked that he would threaten his own teammates. Gaara then turns his attention to Naruto. I apologize for my brother's actions. It won't happen again, Gaara promised. Naruto nodded and releases his kunai from Kankuro's throat, which made Shikamaru releases his shadow from Temari's. This guy just screams Jinchuriki. His chakra levels are off the charts. Not to mention that bloodlust in his eyes. Naruto thought. He managed to get behind Kankuro with ease. This one might be interesting. Gaara thought amused, but then he heard Shikaku's voice in his head. "Be wary of that one, my son. That goddamn fox is within him. It would please me if you bring me his blood." Shikaku warned, enraged when he senses his big brother within the blonde boy. "Yes, mother," Gaara happily obliged. Gaara then saw Shunshin in front of Naruto, as he wanted to get a better look at his next target. Instead of being afraid like what Kankuro and Temari expected, Naruto simply approached Gaara, staring him down without a hint of fear in his eyes. It was an intense stare down, that lasted almost a minute, until Naruto's face turned into a smirk and decided to greet his fellow Jinchuriki properly. "It's nice to finally meet you, One Tail," Naruto said with a carefree tone, which causes Temari and Kankuro to turn pale, while Ino's and Shikamaru's eyes to widen in realization. "Likewise, Nine Tails. Mother says you are strong. I'll prove my existence by killing you," Gaara declared with a sinister smirk. Naruto wanted to joke that Shikaku is a male, but his thoughts were broken when he heard the sounds of a slow clap on his left. He and Gaara turned their heads and saw a Kumo Kunoichi approaching them. She had long, straight, blonde hair bound with taut bandages, dark eyes, and she wore red lipstick. She wore a short-sleeved black and purple blouse and black pants, both of which had a design similar to clouds on them, purple fingerless gloves, and a chain of blue beads wound around her left hand. She also wore the standard Kumigakure forehead protector, sandals, and a kunai holster, which was strapped to her right thigh. She also wore bandages around her arms and legs as well as a red belt around her waist. "Bravo boys! You just proved that even allied villages can be a bunch of dicks to each other." The blonde Kumo Kunoichi jested with a smirk. "Who are you?" Gaara asked, with narrowed eyes. "Oh, where are my manners? I'm Yugito ni, future Raikage. Nice to meet you, losers," the now named Yugito said with smirk, as she approaches the Jinchuriki duo. "Okay, seriously, is there some sort of reunion that I don't know about?" Kurama asked himself, with a frustrated sigh. "What do you mean, Kurama?" "Sigh, she's a Jinchuriki too." "Wow, big day, Kurama. That's 3 out of 8 already. So which one is this one?" "Matatabi. The two-tailed cat. She is able to grant her Jinchuriki, her powerful blue fire. It burns 3 times hotter than any regular fire. So you better only use your strongest Suiton jutsus if you face against her. Your Hyoton might work as well, but it's debatable if ice can beat fire. Also, she enables her Jinchuriki to have cat-like traits and abilities, such as enhanced senses, flexibility, agility, and retractable claws." "Yikes, is that all?" "No, this might not be important, but Matatabi is, how do I put this delicately, always erotically charged. Is that fancy talk for horny?" "Yes." Naruto was then snapped back to reality, when he saw the blonde Kumo girl stare at him with wonder. He then greeted her with his bright smile. "It's nice to meet you too, Yugito, or should I call you, Two Tails," Naruto said with a smirk. Yugito wanted to greet back, but apparently someone was screaming in her head. "By the Sage of the Six Paths! That one is a worthy mate. Claim him now, kitty!" Matatabi yelled out, as her voice was filled with lust. "Shut up, Matatabi!" Yugito shouted back, with an embarrassed blush. Her thoughts were broken, when she heard Gaara spoke to her. "Stay out of this, Kumo ninja," Gaara ordered dangerously. "Fat chance. The only other Jinchuriki I know is B, and I rather talk to one that doesn't rap every time he talks," Yugito said, as she firmly stands her ground. It was now an intense stare down between the 3 Jinchurikis. They could literally feel the overwhelming power that was radiating from each other. But the tension was broken, when Fu suddenly appeared in the stare down, standing next to Naruto, with her wide eyes glued to his face. Naruto and Yugito yelled out in surprise, by the mint-haired girl's sudden appearance, while Gaara simply glared at her. Naruto was in disbelief, that he didn't even sense her presence. For someone who has Biju-level chakra reserves like her, she was able to slip past his sensory ability, without him noticing. Fu? Where did you come from? What are you doing here? Naruto asked, but Fu interrupted him, when she leans her head closer to his face. You called me friend. Am I really your friend? Fu asked with a desperate tone, as her eyes were filled with hope. Naruto's gaze on her were softened, when he sees the loneliness in her eyes, and couldn't help but think that she reminded him of himself. But unlike Naruto, she never had a friend before. Yeah, sure, why not? Naruto said with a warm smile. He wanted to get to know her either way, since compared to the other Jinchurikis he just met, she seems to be the friendliest. This immediately put a large smile on Fu's face, as she lifted her arms up in joy and started giggling. Sen Sashinal. We can hang out, talk about all the things we like, eat delicious foods, play fun games, and practice our kisses together, Fu said happily, but was so fast that Naruto didn't hear the last part. Sure, wait, what? Naruto asked with a small blush, thinking that he might have misheard her. What? But Ino was able to hear that last part as clear as day, and was now fuming, as she attempted to pounce on the mint-haired girl, only to be held back by Shikamaru. Calm down, Ino. She was speaking so fast, I don't think Naruto heard the last part. Shikamaru said, still holding on to the Yamanaka. Still. Ino said with a pout. It was now standoff between 4 Jinchurikis, and Naruto couldn't help but chuckle. Ha ha ha, look at this, 4 out of 9 already. Oh, and she's 7 tails, by the way. Naruto introduced Fu to a confused Yugito and an annoyed Gaara. It's a pleasure to meet you. Fu said with a bright smile. I'm sure. So, 1. Yugito points at Gaara, 7. She points at Fu, and 9. She points at Naruto last, trying to get some clarity of which Jinchurikis they are. And the 9 is hot. Matatabi added in. Quiet you. Yugito yelled out in her thoughts, with an embarrassed blush. Are these people your friends, too, Naruto? Fu asked her first ever friend. No, not really, we just met. Naruto stated. How wonderful. Then, they can be our friends, too. Fu said, as she approached Yugito. You are a girl. We can be girlfriends. We can paint our nails, try on clothes, and talk about cute boys. Fu says to Yugito, as she happily spins around, and stops when she looks at Gaara. She then turns her attention back to Yugito. I found a boy, shall we talk about how cute he is? Fu asked with a smile. This immediately made Yugito's sweat dropped, while Kankuro and Temari were having their jaws dropped. Is she really the 7 tails? Yugito asked Naruto. Apparently. Naruto confirmed. But Gaara had enough of this nonsense. Silence, silly girl. Before I kill you too. Gaara threatened Fu. But Fu was obliviously to such threats. Thank you for your honesty, I will make sure to remember that. Fu said robotically, with the smile never leaving her face. Is this really happening? Kankuro and Temari thought in disbelief, that the 3 foreign shinobis in front of them are not even afraid of Gaara. I assume, you are all here to participate in the Chunin exams. Naruto stated, hoping that these foreign ninjas are here for a good reason. That's right, I am combat ready. Fu said with a childish salute. Really? You don't really strike me as ready, Yugito pointed out. But Fu simply smirked at this. Appearances can be deceiving. After all, a shinobi's greatest weapon is deception. Fu said with a smile that sends shivers down everyone's spine. Okay, she is clearly dangerous. Everyone except Gaara thought. Gaara then turned his attention to Naruto. The silly girl said that your name is Naruto, correct? Gaara asked. Yes, Naruto Senju. And you are Gaara, right? Naruto asked back. Yes. I am Gaara of the desert. I look forward to meeting you three in the exams. I'll enjoy spilling your blood. Especially yours, silly girl. Gaara said to Fu, with a sadistic smirk. How exciting. I look forward to spilling your blood as well, Gaara-kun. Fu said excitedly. She did not just say that, Kankuro thought, with wide eyes. Does she have a death wish or something? Temari asked herself in disbelief. Gaara said as her turned his head away from the three Jinchurikis. Let's go. Gaara said to his siblings/teammates, as he led them away from the scene. Well, it was a pleasure meeting you, pretty boy. But I have go now too. See you around. Yugito said with a flirtatious tone, as she shunshin away, to go find her teammates. Aren't you going to go too, Fu? Naruto asked the mint-haired girl. Yes, I have to go as well. My teammates won't be worried if I'm gone, but I always enjoy disappointing them. Goodbye, friend Naruto. Fu said with a smile, as she happily skips away. Ino and Shikamaru then approached behind Naruto, as they watched Fu skipped away. This exam just got a whole lot interesting. Naruto stated with a smirk. It's finally time. After his fateful encounter with three of his fellow Jinchurikis, today is the day that Naruto, Ino and Shikamaru finally takes the infamous Chunin exams. All of his friends and former classmates were planning to participate as well. Most of whom are still doubting themselves since they are still considered rookies. But when they heard that Naruto and his team are planning to participate in the exams from their senseis, it didn't take long for their confidence to immediately renewed. If the blonde Senju can do it, then so can they. They absolutely refuse to let Team 10 surpass them. With Team 8 in Izuka compound. Shino and Sakura are currently waiting for their dog-loving teammate outside the gates of the Inuzuka compound. They've been waiting for almost 20 minutes now, and while Shino still looks as passive as always, Sakura was fuming and had a tick mark on her large forehead. When Kiba finally showed up with a large grin on his face, Sakura immediately ran towards him. You're late! Sakura yelled out to the Izunika, which caused him to cover his ears to block out the screeching. Ow! I have very sensitive ears, you banshee! Kiba yelled back. You deserve it though, Baka. Shino and I have been waiting for 20 minutes. Sakura scoffed, as she crosses her arms. It's not my fault. My sister Hana wanted to check on Akamaru before we do the exams. Kiba explained, as he pointed his thumb to Akamaru, who was sitting comfortably on his head. Yip yip, Akamaru barked cutely, as he jumps off Kiba's head, and into Sakura's arms, which she happily catches him. Aw, poor Akamaru. You gonna be okay, little guy? Sakura asked, as she held Akamaru like a baby. Yip yip, Akamaru barked cutely, as he licked her right cheek, which made the pinkette giggle. Akamaru said yes. Also, why are you so nicer to him than me? Kiba asked the pinkette, with an annoyed tone. He's cute little puppy. You're smelly mutt, Sakura mocked with a smirk. Why you pink-haired motherf? Enough. We wasted enough time already. Shino interrupted, feeling very annoyed at his two loudmouth teammates. It's Kiba's fault. Sakura scoffed. Shut up, you banshee, Kiba replied, as he glared daggers at the pinkette. Shino has always been caught in the middle when comes to these two. They always argue about the smallest things. He didn't know if it was pure hatred or sexual tension. But regardless, he has always been the one who pulls the team together when he needs to. Kiba, while I understand your reason, I too am disappointed of your lack of punctuality. Why do you ask? Because as teammates and friends, we must be considerate of others, as well. Shino scolded with his logic. Kiba wanted to argue and defend himself, but deep down he knew that Shino was right. He could have had Akamaru get checked on yesterday, instead a couple hours before the exam is about to start. Sigh, Fine, I'm sorry. It won't happen again. Geez, you guys are worse than my mom. Kiba apologized. Thank you, Kiba. Now let's go. Kurenai-sensei told us to go straight to the academy. She said she'll meet us there. Shino explained. While Kiba was excited to show everyone what he and Akamaru can do, Sakura was completely unsure. Ever since she joined Team 8, she realized she never had the drive to be a strong kunoichi. She was so focused on her hopeless pursuit of a romantic relationship with Naruto, that she had forgotten why she wanted to be a kunoichi in the first place. She didn't know what her dream was anymore, when they did their team introduction, because all she could think about was Naruto. He was the boy who saved her. He was the boy who she was so crazy for. But now, he is with her best friend. She still remembered how completely heartbroken she felt when she saw Ino kissed him and revealed their relationship to everyone. While everyone else was having the time of their lives with their team placements, she was going through a mild depression. If it wasn't for Kurenai, Kiba and Shino, who managed to get her over it, she would still be the sad little girl she once was. For the past 6 months, Sakura had grown very close with her sensei and 2 teammates. Kurenai had been very supportive and wanted to make Sakura her genjutsu apprentice. She had a natural talent for chakra control and can perform combat-level genjutsu very easily. While Kiba would mainly prioritize close-quarter combat, and Shino with long range, Sakura specialized in hidden attacks and medical support. Shino still creeps her out because of his parasitic beetles, but she eventually grew to appreciate them, since they saved her life several times. Kiba, on the other hand, annoys the hell out of her. He tends to flirt with almost every single female client they had during missions, which earned him several punches from the pinkette whenever he gets too vile. They tend to argue most of the time, but they always had each other's backs. Despite their childish bickering, they became a good team, and they always trusted each other with their lives. But the Chunin exam is literally the test of their lives. She can't help but feel a little overwhelmed. Are you sure we're ready, guys? I heard this exam can kill us. My mom even throws a fit during the council meeting, claiming it's too dangerous. When I told her I wanted to enter, she literally went crazy. She even yelled at Lord Third. Sakura said nervously, but felt embarrassed at the last part. No shit. My mum was there during the meeting. She said that your mum was, and I quote, pissing her pants when Lord Third unleashed his killing intent. Kiba said, as he was holding his stomach from laughing his ass off. My mum didn't piss herself, Kiba. Sakura defended her mum, but half-heartedly. Sakura, my mum literally smelled her urine. Kiba said with a deadpan look. Fine. She pissed herself. Sakura admitted shamefully. Ha, that's freaking hilarious. Kiba said, as he continued laughing. Sakura wanted to defend her mother's honor, but deep down, she didn't want to. Her mum has always been very nice to her, but she never liked how she talks about Naruto. While the topic of the blonde Senju is still a very sensitive topic to the pinkette, she hated whenever anyone, even her own mother, talks badly about him. She didn't believe one word, since she knows Naruto personally. Her loyalty and stubbornness could be the result of her lingering feelings towards the blonde, but regardless, he had always been her friend, and she will never turn her back on him. But her concerns for the Chunin exams are still unchanged. But what if my mum is right? What if it's too dangerous? I mean, what if something goes wrong and I... Sakura was slowly panicking, until she felt Kiba's hand landed on her shoulder. Come on, Sakura. We're a team, remember? We'll always look out for each other. I promise everything will be okay. Kiba said with a confident grin. Yip, Akamaru agreed, as he licked Sakura's cheek once more, making the pinkette giggle again. He may annoy her most of the time, but Sakura always liked whenever Kiba shows his supportive side. It always makes him look a little mature, which is a rare event. Thanks Kiba, Sakura said with a smile, as she places Akamaru back on the Inuzuka boy's head. As Kiba and Sakura were having a pleasant moment, a dark cloud was lingering over them. "I hate being left out of conversations," Shino said with a monotone voice, but it was filled with depression. "Sorry, Shino." Sakura and Kiba awkwardly apologized in unison, with a sweat drop. "Besides, look at the bright side," Kiba pointed out all of a sudden. "What bright side?" Sakura asked, with a raised eyebrow. "I bet there'll be plenty of hot kunoichis in this exam. Wohoho single line, ladies. There's plenty of Kiba for everyone," Kiba said excitedly, as he was lost in his perverted fantasy world. This was enough to give Sakura the biggest tick mark on her forehead and her right eye to twitch, as Kiba once again managed to ruin their bonding moment. "You baka!" Sakura yelled out angrily, as she punches Kiba's face so hard that he was sent crashing to the nearest wall. Akamaru managed to jump off Kiba's head in time, since he knew what was going to happen, when his master said that last part. "Ow! That hurt, you banshee!" Kiba yelled out, as he got himself up and stood before his attacker. Their faces were so close that their nose touched. They were practically growling at each other. "Baka! Banshee! Baka! Banshee!" "Sigh, there is no logic as to why I am placed into this team," Shino said with a tired sigh. With Team 7, Training Ground 7. Sasuke, Hinata and Choji were now standing before their silver-haired sensei. Kakashi wanted to make sure that his team was mentally ready for upcoming and possibly will-breaking obstacles of the Chunin exams. By this time today, Kakashi had been promoted to Jonin when he was their age, but unlike his cute little genins, he was a one-in-a-million prodigy just like his late sensei, his former Anbu subordinate and the Snake Sonin. They were destined to be one of the best. But the silver-haired Jonin has faith in his team. Sasuke has grown very strong ever since he reached the final stage of his Sharingan and unlocked his Mangekyo. But Kakashi advised him to not use it so casually. After consulting with Hiruzen, if he used the Mangekyo's power too often, it will result to blindness. Only a few Uchihas in history has ever unlocked the evolved stage of the Sharingan, but there's not many information regarding its abilities. The Uchiha had kept it a secret for a reason. So far, Sasuke only knew about the black flames he summoned when he fought against Haku. Despite having more confidence in herself now, Hinata was slightly disheartened. Before she arrived, she was summoned by her father and the Hyuga elders, to remind her to not dishonor their clan even more during these exams. She honestly thought that her father would took her side for once, and wished her all the best, but in the end it was all a pipe dream. What scared her even more, is that her cousin, Niji, will be entering the exams as well. Niji was the Hyuga prodigy, despite being a branch member. Some even called him the second coming of Itachi Uchiha, minus the clan slaying part. Niji has always hated the main family, and Hinata was no exception. He has a firm belief that fate cannot be changed, no matter how much he wanted to. And it disgusts him that a failure like Hinata is destined to be the heiress, while he, a prodigy, was destined to be a slave. It has always been Hinata's dream to free the branch family, including Niji. But she fears that she is still not strong enough, despite being the Kunoichi of the year in her class. Titles like those hold little meaning in the real world. But if Sasuke and Naruto can be strong, then so can she. Because that is what believes in, to become strong, she will fight for those she loves. After telling them the basic information of the exams, Kakashi was now giving them a last-minute pep talk. Alright my cute little genins. As you know, the Chunin exams will take place in the academy. Try to arrive a little early. I don't want you guys to be late, Kakashi said with an eye smile. You don't want us to be late? Sasuke sassed with a deadpan look. Now, don't be like that, Sasuke. Now on to a more serious note, I'm sure you all know that these exams are not to be taken lightly. And I advise you to exercise caution. I know you guys are tough, but make sure to not start a fight that you can't finish," Kakashi warned. This was enough to make Choji nervous. "What if we're not the ones who started the fight?" Choji asked nervously. "Then a tactical retreat is the smartest thing you can do. You regroup, you recover, and you re-strategize. And most importantly, you stay alive and fight together as a team," Kakashi reminded. "Yes, Kakashi-sensei. We'll do our best," Hinata said, still slightly nervous. "I know you will, Hinata. Just be careful, okay?" Kakashi said, as he couldn't help but feel worried about them, since they had reminded him so much of his old team, the brooding prodigy, the kind-hearted Kunoichi, and the always helpful boy. "We will, sensei. I promise. These exams will be a great opportunity for us to test our progress. If Naruto is participating, I have no doubt there will be plenty of other strong shinobis as well," Sasuke said confidently with a smirk. "Hahaha, there's no doubt about it, Sasuke. Alright, you best go now. I'll meet you guys at the academy later." "Dismissed," Kakashi said, as he dismisses his team. After the Genin trio left, Kakashi called out to the person whose chakra signature he sensed a while ago. He thought it was Spy at first, but it was actually someone he knew. "I know you're out there. You can come out now," Kakashi called out, and someone did appear. A female Anbu with a ferret mask. "Wow, I don't know if I'm getting rusty, or I'm just not really good at stealth," Ferret joked, slightly embarrassed for her lack of stealth. "Your stealth is fine, Ferret. You just can't fool me," Kakashi casually gloated with an eye smile. "Fair enough, you are after all, Kakashi of the Sharingan. Konoha's strongest jonin," Ferret said, in a mock boasting tone, as she smirks behind her mask. Now, you keep saying stuff like that, you're gonna make me blush, so, what do you need, Ferret?" Kakashi asked, as his tone turned serious at the end. "I just want to talk to you. Are you sure Sasuke and his team are ready?" Ferret asked with a worried tone. "They will have to take it eventually, you know," Kakashi answered nonchalantly. "Oh, I know, senpai. But they are still rookies. Even Guy wanted his team to wait for a year before participating," Ferret reasoned. "I didn't force them. This is their choice," Kakashi pointed out. "Because you nominated them," Ferret replied with a serious look. "Look, Ferret, I know Sasuke is like a little brother to you. But if you know him best, then you know that this is something he needs. He just wants to be stronger," Kakashi reasoned. "You mean, he just wants to be as strong as your little brother?" Ferret sassed, as she knows very well about Sasuke's rivalry with Naruto. "Ha, I guess Naruto just helps inspire him to be better," Kakashi said, slightly proud of his blonde little brother. I just don't want to lose him too. I promised Lord Third that I would protect him," Ferret said with sad tone, recalling all the people she lost. "I'm really sorry about what happened to you. But you can't always keep Sasuke safe. He's a good kid, but even I can tell that he harbors a lot of hatred and anger in his heart. He just needs to know that he is progressing in his training as a ninja," Kakashi said. "I hope you're right, senpai," Ferret said, still worried for her little brother. "Me too. Well, I have go now. I promise Enko-chan that I help her with some banner. See you later, Ferret," Kakashi said, as he shunshin away, leaving the Anbu to dwell in her worries. With Naruto and Ino, Naruto's apartment. Naruto was now sitting in the dining room, with Ino sitting beside him. He was currently drawing some sort of seal on the Yamanaka's wrists. As she waited, Ino was humming a song that has been stuck in her head for a while. It was a song that her mother once sung to her. Naruto absolutely loves whenever he hears Ino humming her song. It was like a beautiful melody that he could listen to forever, and it always puts on a smile on his face. But his smile faded when Ino suddenly stopped, and he saw a slight frown on her face. "You alright, Ino-chan?" Naruto asked worriedly. "Yeah, it's just that, I'm a little nervous. I know that these exams are going to have a lot of strong genins, but I didn't realize that other Jinchurikis will be participating as well," Ino pointed out, as she recalled their meeting with Gaara, Fu and Yugito. "Should I be offended?" Naruto joked, with a raised eyebrow and a smirk. Ino pouted at the joke, and playfully hits him on the shoulder. "You know what I mean. If they are all as strong as you, I don't know if I stand a chance," Ino said with a dejected tone. Naruto understands what Ino was trying to say. If he was just an ordinary ninja like her, he would be worried too. But he wasn't ordinary. He's a chakra monster, because of Kurama. And added his Uzumaki level reserves, he has more chakra than anyone, even the 5 Kages, and he has only half of Kurama. But Naruto never likes whenever Ino doubts herself. In his eyes, she is already a strong and talented kunoichi. Pushing his feelings for her aside, Naruto knew that Ino is already a Chunin-level ninja, and with her skills with fire release and her clan's telepathic jutsus, the Yamanaka girl is literally a force to be reckoned with. "Hey, look at me," Naruto said, as he gently uses his finger to lift her chin up, so her eyes could meet his. "You are one of the strongest person I know. You train just as hard as anyone else, and you're never afraid to do anything what you feel is right. You are a badass, Ino Yamanaka. And I can't think of anyone else that I rather have to fight by my side," Naruto said with a warm smile, as he caresses her cheek. Ino couldn't help but blush at how sweet he was. Always the charmer. "Thank you, Naruto-kun," Ino said with a smile. "For you, milady, anything," Naruto said, as he returned her smile with his. Feeling the growing butterflies in her stomach, Ino leaned in and kissed Naruto's lips. Naruto returned the kiss in full, until Ino pulled away to look at his face. "How did I get so lucky?" Ino asked, with a dreamy stare. "I knocked you down on your butt, remember?" Naruto joked with a smirk, as he recalled how they met. "Teehee, how could I forget the day I met my whiskers," Ino said with a bright smile, as she leans in to kiss him again. They kissed for almost 5 minutes, until Naruto resumed his work on the seal on her wrists. It took a couple more minutes until he was finally done. "Alright, all done," Naruto said, as he put his sealing brush away. "Cool, so how did you come up with this again?" Ino asked, as she looked at the finished seal on her wrist. "Well, ever since I got the Reiji no Ken, I didn't like the idea of carrying a very valuable sword and family heirloom in my pocket all the time. So by using Fuinjutsu, and the same principle of the sealing scroll, I managed to create these wrist seals," Naruto said, as he pointed to his own seal on his wrist. "You can store up to limitless amount kunais, shurikens and all sorts of weapons, and you can summon them at any time you wish, by applying little chakra and simply think of the weapon you want. With this, you don't have to worry about running out of weapons, and the possibility of someone stealing them," Naruto explained. "Wow, that's actually pretty cool. So I won't feel any of the weight, if I store up like say, 100 shurikens, right?" Ino asked. "Yup, same principle as the sealing scroll," Naruto answered. Ino was amazed at her boyfriend's innovation, but then a thought came to her mind. "You put your Hiraition seal on this, didn't you?" Ino asked with a deadpan look. No, yes I did," Naruto admitted, as he rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. "So, you put a tracking device on your girlfriend?" Ino pointed out with a deadpan look. Hearing this, made Naruto realized it does sound a little weird. "I can remove it," Naruto asked, slightly embarrassed. "Teehee, I'm joking, Whiskers. It's fine. You should make one for Shikamaru too. That way, he can store up as many paper bombs and ninja wires as much as he wants." Plus, he will never use the excuse, "It's too heavy," again. Ino suggested. "Already ahead of you, milady. Come on, let's go," Naruto said, as he and Ino stood in the middle of the room. Naruto then held Ino by her waist, as he then shunshin them both to the Nara compound. Root headquarters. After Tanuki found Sai in his room, and debrief him about their newest mission from Danzo, to infiltrate the Chunin exams, the Root and Bu pair are currently walking down a dark corridor to look for their third teammate. Sai has short, straight black hair, and dark eyes, which contrast with his translucent-looking pale skin. It took a while, but they eventually arrived at the front door of the room that they had been looking for. As they enter, they saw a single figure, a young girl, who is currently strapped to a chair, with her arms and legs being tied down, and some sort of device attached to her head. As they enter, they could only hear the sounds of the girl's heart monitor, and the static electricity coming from the device on her head. The girl was dead silent, but there are traces of tears on her cheeks, that indicates that she was crying, and signs of soreness on her throat, that shows that she was screaming in pain. "Tanuki-san, are you sure it is wise to bring her? The reprogramming has not been completed yet," Sai asked with a monotone voice. "This is a direct order from Lord Danzo, so don't question it," Tanuki answered with glare at the pale boy. "Forgive me, Tanuki-san. I was simply concerned about the mission," Sai apologized. "Rest assured, Sai, Danzo-sama has already placed several loyalty and enslavement seals in her mind. Her will was strong, but it was eventually broken in time. Like us all, she is now a weapon of Root. A weapon of Lord Danzo," Tanuki said with pride in his voice. "But if the reprogramming isn't complete, wouldn't she still retain her memories and personality?" Sai pointed out. "Only a small portion. But the seals have made her docile to a point that she is obedient. But let's find out for ourselves, shall we?" Tanuki said, as he then removes the device off the girl's head, revealing her face. The girl possesses long brown hair and light brown eyes. Her hair is straight on one side, but on the other side it is in a braid. In addition, she sports a clip with two circular designs. "Yakumo, can you hear me?" Tanuki asked the now identified Yakumo. "Yes," Yakumo answered with a lifeless tone. "Who is your lord and master?" Tanuki asked, with narrowed eyes. "Danzo-sama," Yakumo answered once more, with a lifeless voice. "Good. Very good," Tanuki said with a smirk. Tanuki then turned to Sai. "Now you see, Sai. The power of the Kurama clan has now fallen into the hands of Danzo-sama. And soon, so will the Kyubi," Tanuki said with a smirk, as he untied Yakumo, and ordered her and Sai to follow him. With his team now finally complete, Root will now begin their infiltration of the Chunin exams. With Team 10, en route to the Shinobi Academy. After Naruto had given Shikamaru his own wrist seal, Team 10 is now walking towards the Shinobi Academy. Naruto offered to shunshin them all there, but Ino and Shikamaru rather used the walk to clear some of their nerves. "I gotta say, Naruto, these wrist seals of yours are very useful. Now I don't have worry about the troublesome weight of my weapons anymore," Shikamaru said as he looked at his wrist seal. "Shika, you barely bring any weapons at all. Most of the time, you just carry paper bombs." Ino pointed with a deadpan look. "That still counts as weapons, Ino," Shikamaru replied lazily. "Yeah, I'm sure you'll be able to block a sword with a paper bomb. That won't kill you at all," Ino said sarcastically, as she rolled her eyes. "Sarcasm? The cowards lie," Shikamaru retaliate with a smirk. "Oomph," Ino scoffed at the smartass comment. "Come on guys, do we really need to fight among ourselves before we fight the other examinees?" Naruto asked with sweat drop, but he always finds it entertaining whenever his girlfriend and best friend argue. "She started it," Shikamaru whispered, wanting the last word, which was loud enough for Ino to hear, which earned him a cold glare. As they continued their walk, they finally arrived at the Shinobi Academy. But there was one thing that caught Naruto's eye when they arrived, which gave him a sense of nostalgia that is both happy and sad. It was an old swing set, under a tree. Wow, it feels like yesterday we were here, playing on that swing set. Naruto said with a soft smile. Yeah, we had a lot good times on that swing. Ino said with her soft smile, thinking of the time when she and Naruto were kids, and how they would always play on the swing. But then a grim thought entered Naruto's mind. Sometimes I imagined what would happen if things have gotten a little differently. If I never met Mother Nono, if Sarutobi-sensei wasn't there for me more, or I never met you earlier, Ino-chan, I would probably be on that swing alone. Naruto said as looked down in sadness, as if he could literally see that reality. He then felt Ino's soft hand holding his. Hey, don't talk like that. Ino whispered softly, as she too didn't like the possibility. She would probably be a fangirl if she never met Naruto that day. Naruto then felt Shikamaru's hand land on his shoulder. She's right, Naruto. And if you ask me, I bet you and I would have been friends no matter what. Shikamaru assured with a smile. Naruto never felt more blessed than ever. He truly cherished the people around him. Thanks guys. Naruto said, as he wiped away a stray tear, and eventually replacing his sadness with a newfound happier attitude. Now, enough with the whole mushy stuff. Let's ice this exam. Naruto said, as he pumped his fist in the air, which made Ino's sweat drop at the bad pun. Ice puns, Naruto-kun? Ino asked, with a deadpan look. What? Isn't it cool enough for you? Naruto said with a smirk. Oh god, please stop. Ino couldn't handle the cheesiness. Yeah, Naruto. You don't want Ino to give you a cold shoulder, would you? Shikamaru joined in with smirk, which made the Yamanaka cried out in horror. No. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed this what if and want to see next part of it, comment down below and let me know. Also share this video with your friends. See you in the next video. Peace.